Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, somebody asked us if we could create a section that had some people in it for a team section, and then when you hover over, get the info to roll up over the image. Really easy to do. We've got three here. When we roll over, the name, little description, and their social media profiles are going to pop up there. Like I say, really easy to do. There's only one tiny little bit of code we've got to do for this, and it's a simple one-liner, and I'll put it below the video as usual. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's go down and I'll delete this row. We'll start from scratch. Okay, well, I'm going to add a new row. Little green button to add a row. I'm going to put 3 columns in mine. Obviously put as many or as few in yours as you wish. And funnily enough, I'm going to use a person module for this. If we roll down, there's a person module. Okay, obviously put the name in here. Their position down below. If you want to add a Facebook profile, Twitter, not sure why they still got that in there. Google Plus does not exist anymore. Just put the URL of their profile in there and it will take them to it. If I roll that up, you can see the social media icons appearing at the bottom there. If we roll down, you've got some content. Because of the size of it, I'm probably not going to have as much content as that. I'm going to take mine down to that, keep it pretty brief. And image wise, because we're going to fade to an image or fade from an image to this, I'm going to have nothing there at all. So if I roll back down, all we've got is that at the moment. Okay, well, let's style this up a little bit so it's more like we actually want it. So I'm going to go over to design. You can actually roll over it and hit the pencil. It'll take you straight to the various elements. This is the title heading. I'm going to make it bold, blue, capital, and I want it to be in the middle there, and perhaps a little bit bigger, say 30 pixels, something like that. Maybe a little bit too much, say 20. That's fine. And if we roll down, we've got the body text down below. I'm just going to pop that in the middle. I'll leave it exactly how it is. And that's popped our little Facebook icons in there. If we look up at the top of the design here, we've actually got the icons. You can choose a color from, and you can make them bigger or smaller by flipping the little switch and choosing the size you want. Great, well, that's okay. I kind of want to make this square, as we're going to be using a square image for this today. So we can do that by adding a bit of padding. Just so we can see what's going on, I'll give it a bit of box shadow. Let's go down to design. Again, roll on down to box shadow. And I'll just pop that one in. You can see the corners there to see what we've got going on. Great. Well, to make this a little bit more square, still in design, I'm going to roll up to my spacing. And I'm going to say give it 40 pixels top and bottom. Just put in 40, it'll put in the pix, hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side, the bottom for you there. And perhaps 25 left and right. Again, I'm just putting in the 25 and hitting the chain. Great, well, that's squarish, that's fantastic. But because we're adding an image, if you're going to use this on tablet and mobile too, you might want to go in and make it square on those. To do that, and this is common to all Divi modules, if you roll over the dark writing within a module, you'll see some little icons appear. If there's a little mobile phone type icon, you can click on it, go to tablet mode, and we're really going to want to up that a little bit. Say put 100 on the top and bottom there. It's a bit better, could even go a little bit more. Yeah, that's going to work for me. And mobile phone wise, that's way too deep. We can probably go back to our 40 pixels. Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, let's go back to our desktop version now. Now the way this is going to work, and if you watch any of my hover videos before image to text, is the image that we're going to see initially is going to reside in the column itself of the row. And then we're going to push this down, and then when we put the mouse over it, it's going to hover back up. So let's go to our row now. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go into the green tab for the row. We've got column 1, 2 and 3 on the right there. We're working on column 1. I'm going to go into column 1 and I'm going to give it a background. I'm going to go in there, background color, gradient image, which is what I'm going to use today, and you can mix and match these if you want to, but for this particular one an image is going to do fine. Go to image, hit the little plus sign, pop in the image that you want in there. There he is behind, fantastic. Now we're in the column at the moment, and this is where our little one line of code is going to come in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to design. I'm also going to give this that same box shadow because we're going to give this column a fixed height. I'll pop that in there, darkens it down because we've got double shadow on there. Well, that's quite cool. If you don't want that, take the shadow away from the actual person module there. Now let's go over to design and we'll actually give it some code. I'm going to go down to custom CSS. I'm going to roll on down. In the main element here, I'm just going to give it a height. I reckon that's about probably 250 maybe. That's what I used on the ones on the top. Obviously adjust it to your taste and to the amount of text you've got in there. And what we want to do is hide anything that falls beyond that 250, because when we push it down here we don't want to see it. To do that, let's get out of the custom CSS, go down to visibility, and we can change the horizontal and vertical overflow to hidden. That way we're not seeing anything that's below our 250 height there. Now if you're using these on tablet and mobile, you can go back into your custom CSS. Again, you can put a different value in for tablet. I move this out of the way. Could have used a higher res image for that. You probably want to make the height for that probably 400 or something like that. Yeah, that works fine. And on mobile, probably want to go back to about 250. Yeah, that'll work fine too. Okay, these things usually work better on desktop because they'll happen as soon as people put their mouse on them. Of course, on tablet and mobile, they'll have to tap on them, but they'll still work absolutely fine. Okay, flip back to desktop. Now, of course, we don't want to see this fella, or we don't want to see the actual writing there and the social media icons until we hover over, and then we want it to just flow up from the bottom. Let's save our column settings, save our main row settings, go back into our module. What I'm going to do here is give the module the same background color as our page here, which happens to be white. So under content, as always, where you'll find background, I'm going to go in there, color, just simply going to make that white. Great. Now this is the bit we want to slide up over. So what we need to do now is push it down out of the way, so we've just got the image, or we will have when we take that color away. So in design, I'm going to go back down to spacing. I'm going to uncheck the little chain because I don't want this to affect both of them. And well, I know that's 250, so let's give it perhaps 210 would do. Let's give it a bit extra for fun. So I'm just going to put a 2 in front of there, so we've got 240. And you're left with that white field right there, which means we've pushed our whole module down here and we're just left with that padding on the top. It's important we've got all that padding on the top because we're using it as a trigger to pull it back up. Now again, we want to, let's close up that one. We want to roll over. Little arrow there, and again this is common to all Divi modules, we can set a hover state. So if you hit the little arrow, desktop state, just like we want it there, we want it out of the way down at the bottom. When they put their mouse on it, hover state, we want to bring it back up. So I'm going to change that back to 40 pixels. And it'll pop back up just like that. Now the time it takes to go from one to the other with Divi is 300 milliseconds, which is pretty quick. I like to slow mine down for a bit of drama. To do that, we can pop over to the advanced, roll on down to transitions. There's the default 300 mils. Let's put mine perhaps up to, I don't know, twice that, 600, or even a bit more if you want, whatever works for you. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as they pop their mouse over it. And the transition speed curve I tend to use for my hover effects is ease in, ease out. They're all slightly different. Some will work better than others in certain situations, but that's my go-to for my hover effects. Great. Well, it's still not doing exactly what we want it to do. If we go back to the design now, we just want to see the image when we're not hovering over it. We're still on the hover state, you can tell because it's up here. So let's roll down while we're in the design. We'll go to filters, roll down. One we want today is opacity, and again we'll get the little arrow up. As you can see, we're on hover state. Let's put it on desktop state. On desktop state, I don't want to see this module at all. We just want to see the image. So I'm going to slide this all the way down to 0, and we're left with the image. Then when they hover over it, I want to bring it back. Just like that. Great, so if you've done everything correctly, that should work for us. Let's save our changes here. We'll save the page changes, save draft or publish if you're ready, and exit the Visual Builder. And if we go down, there's our little image. If I hover over, it's going to roll up like that. Take my mouse off, it's going to disappear back down. And that's a great little effect. People are mousing around your site and that happens. It's going to get their attention pretty quickly, which is what you want. And of course they can click on the social medias and read the information there. Now you don't have to go through all this again if you want to create some more. I'll show you how easy it is to recreate this for more people. Let's enable a Visual Builder again. Let's go down. I'm going to go into this row. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to right click on our first column that we built there. I'm going to say copy item styles, or I could use extend for this. I'm going to right click on the next one, paste item styles. I'm going to right click on the next one, paste item styles again. Now there's nothing in there, that's why we can't see the image on the background. So I'm going to save the row settings. I'm going to go into our little module here. I'm going to hit the duplicate, two little squares right there. I'm going to drag one of them over, doesn't matter which one, they're both identical. And then we got that fella in there. I'm going to duplicate once more. Drag one over here. Then you need to go into the module itself, change the name to whatever the next one is. We'll save that one. We'll go into our next module here. Change the name and position. Obviously you want to do the social medias as well. And then you can switch out the image in the column by simply going back into the row. Once you know who you're putting in there, into the column, background, image, change this guy for that young lady. Save that one. Roll up, we'll go into the third column now. Change that guy again. Put this fella in. And that's it, so you don't have to go through the whole thing again to recreate this. Now let's save our page changes. Exit the Visual Builder. And there we have it. We've got Bob. We've got Sue. And we got Dave over here. Like I say, that's a nice little effect to have on your site. People are mousing around. That is going to get their attention pretty quickly. So I hope that's answered that question. There's how to have some text slide up over your team images. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them or make a little demo video for you. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.